Oh,
right?
okay.
We're trying to get them into the playoff bracket, but then we lose 2 teams. So you also have to think about the fact that you're eliminating 2 teams.
And 2 teams get promoted to upper bracket.
2 teams get promoted to upper bracket.
Yeah, so there's
So 2 teams get fired, 2 teams get promoted, and then everybody else just goes to the lower bracket.
In that 1 elimination threat zone.
Come on, you think of something. You're an analyst.
The gauntlet.
The gauntlet.
Okay.
Day 1 of the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Wow. You really are smart.
Thank you.
It's true what they say about NA Dota players.
That's what everyone says.
They say they're smart.
Indeed.
You're such an NA Dota player.
Thank you. That means I'm intelligent.
Yeah, I've been told. That's the stereotype. We're known for our mathematics and our intelligence.
We definitely are, and I'm
essential
very excited to watch more of the Gauntlet. And I was impressed by Beast Coast. I really was. I expected a decent amount from Liquid, but Beast Coast pleasantly surprised. I mean, obviously they did fantastically in the region, but now we're getting to look at them on the international stage. We didn't get to do that in Season 1. They weren't able to make it to LAN, even though they were first place in their respective league. But when we talk about LAN experience and having LAN experience, obviously they're a team that's had LAN experience. They've had it. They had it when they were on Vergesa. They had it when they were infamous. They've played on the biggest stages. But the next team that's going to be on the stage, they don't have as much of that with Team Spirit. And I'm curious because you guys obviously aren't going to be covering that. I'm pretty sure I have AUI is going to be there. I'm curious what you guys think about how Team Spirit is going to fare in this tournament.
They've got the flair that teams like Beast Coast have. I really liked watching them during the DPC. They were a clear step down from Virtus Pro, but they really have their own style. They are run and gun around Toronto, Tokyo. Their mid laner. He's all about really pushing the limits. He is the type that will farm for the minimal amount of time as possible. I can't imagine him really playing TA. He's more of like a Storm Spirit, Void Spirit kind of guy.
Pushes it to the limits.
Yeah.
And that was exactly what we were doing on this panel. We're actually out of time. We got to go to a quick break, but when we return, we are going to be seeing EG against Team Spirit. Don't go anywhere. We got EG going up against Team Spirit. And to break it all down, we got AUI, who just got to watch EG, and we got Lizard. So I actually want to start off. Just how's EG looking today?
Game 1, they looked like a team on another level. In Game 2, they actually looked a bit shaky, or TNC picked up the pace. I think they're coming into this tournament, and they'll be strong, but I don't know if they're looking the same form as they did the last major.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, do you think a little bit of it could be them just getting started today, or...
EG is sort of notorious for being slow starters, and they're also already qualified for TI. But I think they're interested in just showing the difference in class, you know? They want to be known as the top team.
This NA bias right here, already starting up. Just want to show the class of NA, you know? Just
You do. No, it's part of it, right?
I just like instantly made eye contact with my NA brother, and I was like, "How we doing today, brother?"
Yes.
Is it going well?
Best team in Valorant, best team in Dota. Let's go!
I at least hope that this small CIS team that's in the form of Team Spirit, with youngsters that are all like 19 years old, can shake up those dreams a little bit, because I've been looking at them for a while now, and they've been looking pretty strong. They only dropped one series in the whole CIS to Virtus Pro.
They should have won that one, too.
And they should have won
They
that.
were up 10k at 20 minutes, and their inexperience sort of made them hit the enemy tier 4s before the racked mid.
And that's really the problem, the inexperience.
It
right?
is.
Well,
But
when you
learn-
talk about that inexperience, too, only one of their players has really been at a proper international LAN, their team captain. And besides that, you know, they really are young guns. How do you think that'll affect them?
Oh, I think the nerves will be there playing against EG specifically as well.
Yeah.
I think EG... people who aren't on EG always talk about it as like the EG aura. Like, everyone plays worse versus this team. And it's sort of
I
true.
thought they end up third or second.
Yeah, because they are
That's
good. They just have an aura. They're actually really good, and they have the aura. But it's a thing. Like, you feel pressure going against. Like, these are formidable players. They're players that these young players probably looked up to as they're coming into the Dota scene.
By the way, can I just stop all of this? And this guy that's sitting next to me, AUY 2000, he's the one that I looked up to.
Really.
Yeah.
Really?
When I was starting up, man, I expected and I was hoping to meet you in the Dota scene, but really under different circumstances.
I'm pretty sure I have an embarrassing picture with you.
Do you?
Yeah.
I'd believe it.
For when I was like first
How many
watching
people
Dota.
do you have embarrassing pictures of? That's
The
question.
best
He
one.
has the black book coming out, like-
He had like people ask, why do we keep on inviting Rich? Like he's holding us hostage.
He has a lot of
like taking pictures.
There are
Hey,
a
by the
lot
way,
of
can I
photos.
get another picture? Will you sign my T-shirt? Yeah, no, I think the most embarrassing picture that I have is still probably that one with Fear. And I didn't know who Arteezy was yet. And
Did you make Arteezy take the photo of you two?
No, it wasn't that
'Cause
bad.
that's a classic.
Yeah, but Arteezy like put his arm around me, and I was pissed. Because it was more of a me and Arteezy picture than it was a me and Fear picture. And
I'd
I was
miss
like,
it.
who is this dude who ruined my picture with Fear? I was super pissed.
How dare he.
Yeah.
Invading your personal
I will show you.
space.
I will show
I
you.
wanna see
after
that
this.
photo, yeah.
Oh no, I wasn't upset about that. I was just like, I just wanted all of my time with Fear. I was like, hey, I have a million questions to ask you. Do you think we could be friends? But it didn't happen, and I
Fear would have liked
Now you can be my friend.
I
You
don't
can
think
be
Fear
our
knows I
friend.
exist. I've tweeted at him a few times. I don't think he knows I exist. But I'm curious about how this one is going to play out, because if we know anything about this tournament so far, it has been a tournament of draws. Do you think we could see a draw here, or do you think that Team Spirit might just find themselves a little bit out of their element, especially getting started now with the tournament, first proper LAN for majority of these players?
Realistically looking at this, it probably shouldn't be a draw, right? It should be an easy, breezy 2-0 for EG.
on paper, right?
On paper, yeah. But if you... another problem is that there's a lot of data on Team Spirit recently. They've been playing different tournaments, not only DPC, CIS. So they've been playing the Pinnacle, which they did win.
They did win, but they looked sloppy at points.
They
right?
looked at sloppy at points, and also they're kind of giving their hands away. They're playing the same heroes over and over again. That Mars, Mirana, Grimstroke combo, it's the only thing that they're picking consistently and doing well.
Or maybe they're picking that only so that they come here to the 2000 IQ mind games.
I can't.
I think that's just the best
Throw
way to
rock
think
8
about it.
times in a row.
Yeah.
Just the old adage. But
if you do it once or twice, that's fine. But you know, like you pick a random brood or random meepo, and then everyone is banning it. But when you pick that all the
Yeah.
time throughout all the series,
And even if you're just pretending that's your best strat, sometimes it just becomes your only strat. And you're like,
Because that's the only
I
thing you're
tricked
playing,
myself.
yeah.
Like, it's the only thing we've practiced.
Yeah, and you mentioned looking a little bit sloppy in the Pinnacle Cup, so the dropping games.
Yeah, they lost
seems
to
like
Kezu.
Viking and Winstrike.
Kezu.
I love Kessie. He's really fun because you can make fun of him about anything and he'll like have the same expression on the face. He's very German.
Yeah. Cinderin.
Radiant team ban.
He pushes buttons from time.
Sometimes you have to ask him if you're going too far as well. You know? Like I didn't even know Sind that well. I was still making fun of Cinder and Alchemist, and all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that is still one of my favorite moments of my entire life. I'll be completely serious. That is one of my favorite moments of my entire life.
I think every time Alchemist has been picked, that has been
everybody says
it. Yeah?
I don't know this.
Okay, so basically, it was the Bukavel Miner, and I was the person who really didn't let him live it down. He goes, you know how like Sin every now and then when he's analyzing something, he'll have like this flash of brilliance, and he really lets you know like this is the big idea, and he goes, all right, listen up, work with me here. When there is an alchemist in the game, it is an alchemist game, and that was his takeaway from the matchup, and it made sense, but it was just such a ridiculous. Yeah. It is true. It is true, but we just like kept bringing it up over and over again.
I know exactly what it means, but
definitely. We got a draft going on that TA instantly gets banned out.
I like the AA draft ban in particular. I really want TNC to ban it in their games versus EG. The game 1 just looks super dominant. Game 2, TNC actually counterplayed it quite well with some Spectre Tiny stuff. Night Soccer
but
even.
Buck, man, like you come from the EG, from the NA,
the EG region.
The EG region, yeah.
The EG region. And I just want you guys to know.
Wasn't Buck like
by Quincy?
Yeah, in the tiebreakers, right? At the end.
No.
It wasn't the tiebreaker.
I mean, so what happened was Quincy was supposed to get 2-0 by EG, and then there's a toss bug that let Yawar
the buyback. What's funny is that same bug occurred in our region like a few days earlier. Just no one cared.
But it's a relevant region. So.
What?
NA.
Oh my God!
I'm sorry.
Yeah. You guys have been whatever the butt of the joke for the last 5 years. And now you get 1 year when you're
let us have
I'll let you have
I
this
need
1
the
year.
USA chance back. Like that's what I live for.
It's a good year. You get EG and then also Quincy crew. Like it's a good time.
Okay, so to the draft, right? Yes. We should probably do that.
Man,
isn't Puck like 80% on EG?
Oh
like
yeah,
the win rate even higher. Right?
He's
actually, in the last 7 games, 100%. On EG.
I believe it, yeah.
It's crazy. And
I think they just banned him at some point. And these are the Siggies, right? The Avid Puck, the Crit Earth Spirit.
Yep.
Crit came into the scene as an Earth Spirit spammer. He remained one of the best Earth Spirits in the world ever since Monkey Business, so...
Yeah, and it's being picked up quite a bit.
At the same time, you mentioned, like, this is what Team Spirit also likes to play, right? The Grimstroke, the Tiny. I think their mid usually plays these magical burst heroes, and they play a lot of double range supports.
Do you think this will be Tiny 4 or Tiny mid? Because they play it on both sides.
I think they should play mid versus Puck.
Yeah.
I think it should be mid or carry, and he should get a fast blink dagger. Puck is a hero where he has like a window where he's very vulnerable because you get the Witch's Blade, you get the Travels, and he scales up extremely quickly. However, if you can punish him in that time frame, he can look really weak. For example, in the tiebreaker game the remade game between Secret and Enigma, like when that DK was able to buy the Blink itself Hood.
Because
the morph.
Adam morphed into a Blink Dagger. Like that Puck did not look nearly the same. He was vulnerable during that time.
Yeah, and Tiny as a core gets that advantage, right? He gets enough farm early on, and he can get that Blink by the time Puck is completely online. That's one of the reasons why you would like to put him mid lane against.
Also, I just think Spirit, they play the best when they have 2 range supports, actually. They're one of the few teams I've noticed, they just have 2 high damage supports, and they're able to kill off whatever they see.
Also, that Mars banned out instantly by EG in the first phase, followed up by some Lion. This is mostly to protect the Puck. Legion Commander, by the way, I have seen many things, but I haven't seen Position 5 Legion Commander, and that's in
that was
NA.
Not good.
Yeah, that was good,
only
right?
once.
Yeah, only once, and that's it.
It was not good. Yeah. It's because Abaddon was banned, and
they wanted some clear, or
I actually don't know. No, they saw Bat Rider. They're like, okay, we don't have Abaddon, so we're gonna pick Legion Commander. And I feel like every 5 has had this idea, like myself included. Like, oh, I'm just gonna play some Legion 5, like we saw in Kuroki like a few years back. Yeah. It's not good. Don't do it.
You're just not as strong as some
No, you're just
Abaddon
ball
on
with one
5.
spell.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
you literally don't do
If you
anything.
do get that shard, however, it kind of
You're
feels
still
alright.
one spell. Like you pick the entire hero for one spell.
That's what Legion is. Didn't
10
Slack say?
seconds remaining.
I know Sunsman was.
No, but Legion
that's
as a hero,
Sunsman,
you have
never mind.
lane pressure. You know, you can defend towers with a max
seconds
cure. You're
remaining.
tanky. You know, you can get pick off in a fight. This
team
5
back.
Legion, you literally stand like 1,000
And you
range
just-
because you don't have Abaddon ulti.
yeah.
You're standing so far away. You can't stand close enough to dispel them instantly sometimes. And
The only
hope
good
for
thing
the
is you
best.
get that BKB built in, right?
I mean, it is a
kinda-
really good
yeah,
spell.
It's
You have to build on one
really
spell.
good,
It's
yeah.
up there, but I don't like it. Like just.
All right, what else are we looking for
10
now? We're
seconds
starting to get a
remaining.
little bit deeper into this draft. Anything in particular that you're really thinking for EG?
5 seconds
For
remaining.
EG, I think they need a bit more damage under 5 right now. I think Puck can start the fights, Earthsphere can follow up, but you just want to have a little bit more for the fight, so the fights don't take too long. How
bit
Crit
more
plays as Earthsphere is he rolls in, he'll get around the spells off, and he's really good at
Radiant
resetting the fight.
team pick.
So you want to burst the first hero that.
And what are you talking about? The hero on position 5? Some Warlock, some Witch Doctor, something like that, or are you still fine with Abaddon, with Treant? Because these are the heroes that EG plays, right? And
You're right, actually.
I wouldn't mind seeing either direction.
10 seconds
Yeah, actually, I
remaining.
think you're right. I think I overstated it. I don't think you need the 5 burst.
5
Because
seconds
when you asked me that, I was
remaining.
like, okay, I want AA. A's banned. Okay, I want Grimstroke.
Yeah.
The other team has Grimstroke. So maybe don't overcommit to a subpar hero. You can go a different direction with this. Take the long fights with something like a Treant. That sounds pretty good, actually.
Maybe the only problem is, like, when you do pick that Treant and you already have a lot of catch, you do tend to lack damage in that mid game, right? But here with the Puck,
How
with the
Abbott plays
Spirit-
Puck, it is pretty high damage.
Yeah.
So he goes for a lot of magical damage when he needs to, and if they don't have physical, he's going for like Deso AC. Like he's fully committing into damage.
And I love the fact that
Geniuses
a
turn
lot of players, you saw Miracle last night as well. It didn't work out, but you saw him going for that AC eventually.
Yeah.
Just transitioning into a
But
Puck that's
Puck's
right.
such a-
Like,
he's such a flexible hero.
if you remember Singapore Major, Mickey was literally winning games from that mid lane with Puck being a real position 1.
No,
just going.
He was the carry.
He was the carry. He would go for the Skadi.
Yeah, they would have like, what would they have, like Venomancer?
seconds.
just always some
like-
Bloodseeker,
Yeah, I don't know.
Venomancer, something like that.
And you look at end game stream, Puck like, I have 70k damage. Like, okay, you're Terrorblade then, I guess.
Yeah, and when you mentioned this Shadow Shaman, we've said it so many times. If there's a Puck, Lion is banned out, you pick the Shadow Shaman.
Yeah.
It just makes your game much easier.
Was it on a panel with you when I was like, okay, so
Yeah, me and
when does it
Smith,
make?
yeah.
Yeah, it was like, when does it make sense to have the Rasta instead of actually having the Lion? It's like, oh yeah, when the Lion's banned. Like that's when you pick it. I mean, obviously, going to be some extra things
Push,
that
I
come
think
into
is the other thing, right?
the same
what'd
thing
you say?
said. Yeah.
That's the same thing. Okay.
I mean, it does.
Wait,
right?
sorry, I didn't.
Gives a
even
little
hear
bit
you.
of push.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were talking about that for sure.
I feel
Definitely
like
going to be an extra
Shadow
thing.
Shaman's way worse versus Puck than Lion is.
Yeah.
Because with
Radiant
Puck, you get the
team
Hex off, you get a stun, and you burst him.
Enchantress.
Shadow Shaman, like, if he tries to shackle the Puck, he's gonna silence my Earthsphere instantly.
I love the Sench.
That's a good edge pick.
Yeah, I love the
Yeah.
Sench. It's a hero that is actually banned versus EG a lot because they play it so well.
They do.
And then suddenly you don't see it picked by them for a
10
long time, and you think,
seconds
okay,
remaining.
we don't have to ban it. Let's ban out heroes.
It's hard though, right?
yeah.
Like, I don't want to give them
5
AA or
seconds
TA either.
remaining.
They played
That's
the
true,
first two
that's true.
TA just now versus TNC, and the game felt over literally at 6 minutes.
Genius.
TA looks like the hero of the patch, like the hero
Yeah,
of
no,
the
it's a
major
scary
at
hero.
least. Yeah. It does-
Hunter.
Why
so-
tie here?
So the silences don't really work as well on
Yeah.
him, right? He can get a lot of these things off, and he'll be able to.
I like the idea of it because they pick these 2 ranged squishy supports,
Hmm?
and they need something to
10
just stand in front
seconds remaining.
line and be able to stun the enemy team, give them some space to fight.
5
Enchantress
seconds remaining.
can possibly bully him a little
Evil
bit, right? If you find the right
geniuses
creeps.
turn
Yeah, it's a bit RNG dependent.
And they go with an Ursa now.
Okay.
This looks pretty bad after this pick for the Tidehunter, right? Or you don't think so?
So my read on Ursa is that hero is strong, but his laning is actually really weak. Like if they go Gush and Shock, I think,
Okay,
and
that's
block the
true.
camp, they can actually win this lane.
10
and what I
seconds
think
remaining.
Spirit should think about is they should start Grimstroke there at level 1 with the Nuke. Just have like
5
sort of a
seconds
surprise
remaining.
gank on him.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't kill the Ursa, which honestly, like maybe even make him level
Radiant
clap, it feels
team
good.
ban.
Like they can swing that lane in their favor.
No, you're right for sure, because Gush plus Shadow Shaman's damage
Yeah, it's
is
actually scary,
natural.
right?
It's so strong.
You don't expect it.
I've seen the same lane. It actually did lose, but the players were misplaying it a little bit. They weren't really playing
If
together.
you play really
10
like I've seen these
seconds
Tidehunters, they
remaining.
start Tango Solve, so a lot of stats on the Quanglet, and then they bring 3 mangoes, and they just got cooldown on the Ursa, and you cannot out-sustain it. EG is, I would say, they're probably the most robust safe lane players, I think. Solid.
Do you kind of have to ban out Drow now if you're EG?
Ban out Drow, huh?
Yeah, I think Drow, for me, Drow Troll Medusa might be the scariest versus the Ursa.
Because it's hard for Ursa to play?
Yeah.
I think Ursa actually counts as Medusa.
I know what you're saying. You're talking out of this fast-paced gameplay with defusal built in.
Late game is straight up beater, I think.
I haven't really seen that unless Medusa doesn't buy a Skadi.
Oh, I see.
If she doesn't buy a Skadi, she loses. If she buys a Skadi, it's not really that simple.
Honestly, I believe you over me. I just play really bad pubs in NA. They don't mean anything.
It's not from my pubs, really. It's from the SEA and
yeah,
Chinese.
so you have real experience. I'm just talking. I'm just making up words. People believe me because that's a credential. It's really funny.
I love how humble he is.
It's the NA trade, man.
Yeah. Yep. No, fake it till you make it.
Like, tier 8 CIS player, TI winner. Who you're gonna believe?
Usually, I mean, I won't get too into it, but usually it is the real ones who tend to be humble. But
sorry, go
you go right ahead.
Oh no, I was just thinking because
you're fucking AUI, dude. You can say whatever the heck you want. I say hello, I say goodbye. When you want to talk about Dota, I'll shut the heck up.
So I was wondering, EG's lineup, they need something to sort of frontline for them right now, right? Like Enchantress sort of does it, not really. Earthspirit is tanky. I think he has like 4.4 strength gain or something stupid, but he's not a real frontline. They need something that goes in, starts a fight, or like anchors a fight for them. Some tanky offlaner.
What did they ban out? Is that TB?
On EG banned out PL and TB.
Yeah. How about the Centaur if you're picking for EG, if it's not banned out?
Centaur, I can see the idea working. I don't like that hero so much against Tidehunter, just because, Stampede versus Ravage. Yeah. Ravage is good for it, but it can still work for sure.
They have been picking it. Is Timber still in the pool? Timber is banned out, obviously, early on. I really don't see, like, you have Underlord, you have Centaur. What else can you give to Ice Ace? I don't see them picking Brood here. It's actually banned. Is it banned out? It's banned out. It's banned out.
Okay, I was just gonna say, like, Ice Ace's Brood is something to be scared of.
It's difficult to.
Right now, Team Spirit lack a bit of sustained damage. They have a lot of magical bursts at the start of fight. You have Ravage, Tiny Combo, all the spells come down.
All about the pick-offs.
Yeah, but if you can sustain through that and reset the fights with some like Earthstrike roll and Ursa's still alive, you can definitely power through their fight.
Oh, Doom actually.
That's a good pick. I completely forgot about that hero. Really good for Tidehunter.
I was gonna call it for Team Spirit because they had Grimstroke as well, but before the Ursa was picked up.
Probably some of that is like they don't want them to have Doom as well. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
if
they probably won't.
But
Doom carry.
Actually.
Yeah.
10 seconds remaining.
Stuff used to be legit though. The Doom carry with like super strong.
Probably not anymore.
So they need a carry that's a bit independent against a Doombringer, I think, right now. I think they want the supports to be able to move around with the Tiny, maybe even go to the Tidehunter pressure Ursa.
I still see the same heroes. Monkey is still in the pool. That's an option, but they go with the Raven.
Okay, classic versus
All right, now that the chips have all been laid out, what is the game plan for EG to actually win this one?
Both of these teams have pretty much similar gameplays, right? These offlaners with long cooldown ultimates, they can fight early on. On one side, there's if he opts to go for the defusal, CIS Raid Kings actually join fights very early on. It phases into gloves.
Is he going to go to Soaring? Is that more Chinese only? Or?
That's more Chinese, but he might. However, this phases into gloves, and then you decide whether to go Armlet or Radiance or whatever. Yeah, like I think both of these teams have pretty decent drafts. I'd value perhaps EG's a little bit more just because of the name, but I like the Grimstroke, Shadow Shaman, and Raid King quite a bit.
I think Spirit's draft is vulnerable in the early game. They have 2 range supports for Enchantress. I think EG should look to collapse on mid with mid wagon and maybe TP into Doom with a puck coil. I think they should be able to like set up the tempo really well if that happens.
Okay, so a little bit of tempo early on when we're looking at Team Spirit's draft. So also, how do you feel about the Ursa now, all things considered? Because I know that you were looking at
just as a hero or
just in this draft.
In this draft, I mean, if he has a good game, I think it's a pretty free Ursa game. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
He has a lot of stuff to back him up. He has abilities to let him hit like coil, even just some Earth Spirit roll. But it all depends on the lanes this game, I think.
Okay, all right. Well, you heard it from our analysts. This one is definitely going to be tough for Team Spirit as well. You have to keep in mind how much pressure really is on a squad like this. A lot of players not having as much LAN experience in an environment like this, and they're going up against EG.
Honestly, Rich, I know how you feel. I say hello, I say good, do a bit of shouting in between. Lacoste says all the smart stuff. In the meanwhile, looking at these two drafts and the two teams, are you leaning one way or the other?
I'd say 60-40 for EG, where I've seen a lot of Ursa games where he completely takes over. Might not be the easiest laning stage because he's laning into Tidehunter. Tidehunter plus Shadow Shaman is going to be a ton of damage, ton of minus armor, even though it sounds good on paper, but, you know, it's... Same goes for like Slark into Tidehunter. It's really not that good early on. It's more about like once you get the levels in the mid game, you're gonna feel that, you know, good matchup. But in the laning stage, it's really not that great. And you know, panel discussed about how, you know, this is not a really experienced LAN team. They're not really playing in LAN environment right now. They're in a hotel where they've been, you know, isolated. They made this as their home for the last 10 days. So I really don't feel that this is gonna influence how they're gonna play the game. Maybe when it comes down to the big stage, then it's gonna matter. But right now, I feel pretty confident how Team Spirit is gonna perform in this one.
Yeah, and you call that Wraith King pick right at the end, something that can contend with that Coil, the Doom, and these extended team fights from EG, of course, with his reincarnation. And a point that AUI brought up as well was that early rotation potential from EG, collapsing onto mid lane around the 5, the 10-minute catapults with the Earth Spirit, the Enchantress around the Dream Coil, and maybe even TP the Doom in there to set that tempo early on and try and limit Team Spirit in how they do build up into their key items, because they are quite reliant on itemization, especially on that Wraith King.
EG is going to run an aggressive trial lane, so they have a sentry ward already on the Enchantress to be able to devore the big camp and put a ton of pressure. Earth Spirit, Enchantress plus Ursa seems super strong. One of the reasons, because we discussed it, panel talked about it, Tidehunter, like, he is really strong, and now they're also like adjusting the lanes. It seems they're definitely going to need to bring Shadow Shaman if EG keeps the tri lane, roll from the Earth Spirit.
Straight past them. And they also body block that bottom wave, so it's under tower. That's going to mean it shoves out that little bit better and forces the Wraith King and the Grimstroke to be in a more awkward, open position to allow that roll, that move in with a creep, and EG to play aggressively. So there's the adaptation from Spirit, also making up their tri lane in a 3 versus 3 down bottom.
Team Spirit will need to body block the big camp. They see the central ward on the Enchantress. Earth Spirit wants to block the small camp, so there's not going to be a pull. Nicely done by Crit.
Kind of creep manipulation. Might take a lot of damage though from this.
He might skill Inkswall, just kidding, doesn't get it. If Shaman was a bit closer, maybe he had a boost of speed, but went for a more stat-oriented build. Magic Stick, 2 Ironwood Branches, a Fairy Fire, and a 6 Stangos.
Honestly, really well done by Yatoro so far. 4 and 2, even after that little body block, the pullback, the lane in the state it's in. Still gets a good amount of CS from under his tower and then pushing forward. So not the devastating situation that maybe could have been in this early laning setup from EG. But for now, the tri-lane's a little bit of calm there. We can take a peek into some of these other spots. Abed on the puck in towards mid, going up against that Tiny, of course, as
Tiny,
Tokyo.
Tiny gets level 6. There's going to be an instant rotation from the Earth Spirit, already there, hiding in the trees, ready to snap the coil. So this type of rotation is very easy to, you know, like, know what they're gonna do. So I expect Team Spirit to react to that, like, prematurely. You know when you're gonna be able to hit level 6 on Tiny. You call for a support help, and someone should be there. Possibly, yeah, just the Shadow Shaman, sit there in the trees, also be ready for that type of a play. Meanwhile, on the top lane, we have Tidehunter plus a Doom. Both of these heroes are gonna keep farming. Not a good matchup for Tidehunter in the mid game, because this most likely will be the hero that the Doom wants to go on with the ulti.
Yeah.
Again, possibility that Earth Spirit makes a rotation to the top. One more time, extra slow, extra stun to bring this Tidehunter down. Right now,
It's kind of interesting though, right? Because usually Tidehunter we consider to be very good against these melee heroes, bullying them with Anchor Smash, getting forward. And if Ice brings the regen that he needs to sustain in that lane, he's got Devour, which will be able to outscale the Tidehunter, especially going into mid to late game.
This is where Ice shines. Historically, he's been always good in these 1-versus-1 scenarios.
Oh, sure.
You can't really bully out Tidehunter out of the lane. Super strong, great stats gain. LA hero, you know that he's gonna get the farm. It's all about that. What happens when they hit level 6?
It's about to expire. I thought maybe a go there from EG with a roll, a Centaur Stomp. They don't play that aggressive move just yet. Keeping Arteezy farming freely. He's a good wave and a half ahead of the Wraith King in terms of last hits. While Abed secures a bonus bounty rune here because it looks like the Enchantress will be able to slip back and take that right-hand one for the Dire team as well.
So Enchantress forced to get out in the triangle, try to get a creep from there. Body blocks, they just keep body blocking it. They also have a sentry ward that is inside the square, so that blocks it.
It's kind of cool how that Ench is playing from Fog though, right? Because she's still a threat no matter where she is, and that's why Team Spirit keep both supports down here. So it means they're leeching experience from each other and losing out in that XP battle, while, you know, Earth Spirit kind of staying away from the Ursa, allowing...
Abed gets it.
Oh, Abed, yeah, takes the water rune. A little tiny combo comes in.
Can't really blow him up, not at this point. Abed had a water
Radiant's
rune in the
tower
bottle, Tiny 1 level below, so still very hard to get. At least he steals the water. This matchup, Puck against Tiny, I've seen it go both ways. Like, Tiny can get a return kill, can get something done if Puck overextends. But, you know, one of the reasons why we see more of the Tinys lately is the introduction of the water rune. So he pushes out the wave with the 3-throw, 3-grab, and then goes back, farms the small camp on top of it. It's just a story of the mid lane these days.
Yeah, the ability there just to stand his ground, not really under too much threat of dying because he's so tanky. See if they do rotate into that mid lane, or if it's going to be down to those midders to TP into these side lanes later on. Team Spirit wanting to move out with the tri-lane though. Again, they don't want to be stuck down there leeching XP from each other. Try and find the Enchantress, see where Fly has been playing, because Anch has been taking out some of these jungle camps, getting a bit of CS for herself, and will get closed in on here with a Grimstroke stroke, the shackles coming in, Enchantress being chased down as Fly will be dropping shortly, unless these little wisps will heal her up. Fly surviving, but the stroke effect takes her down.
Unfortunately, they did not have Enchant ready straight away to dispel the Ink Swell. Puck, he is level 6 already. Let's see the Earth Spirit. He's hiding in the trees, possibly ready to rotate on the mid lane, but the lane is kind of pushed in. So just farming a small camp for now, and there's the rotation. Refill the bottle. Enchantress will do the job after you die. Pretty much the stuff that we see lately all the time.
Yatoro forced the TP back to Fountain, in fact. Doesn't go for the TP to the tier 1. Got kicked back into the Ursa. That's a long walk back to that lane. 18 CS, lacking in that levels and experience department. And Miposhka and Mira, yet again, moving towards the edge. Fly, the only real target out on the map that they can attempt to go on, but they whiff out on their combo, and that opens up Abed to coil the Grimstroke and snipe down a pick off of his own, dodging away from the Wraith Fire Blast. Miposhka dies to the potato of Edge, and Fly, these little wisps, the attendance arriving means that Yatoro, even though he's tossed forward, can't close the gap onto Edge enough.
Because of the tri-lanes, all the supports on the map are very underleveled. We see Grimstroke, who's level 2, Shadow level 3 at the moment. Even Wraith King, 6.5 minutes in, has not hit level 5 yet.
And one victor though is going to be that Tidehunter. 3.3k net worth. Oh, the roll from Crit, the clap out of Arteezy. Yatoro doesn't have a TP scroll, does he? So he's kind of stuck down here, and Fly's rotation returning to the bot lane. Inkswell comes, Mira, Miposhka defending their Wraith King with their lives and everything they've got. But look at Ice. Scorched Earth to cut through the trees. They desperately scramble for any target they can grab onto, but under the tower, the shackles catching Arteezy, forced to clap away. Toronto Tokyo TPing into this fight, and the Ravage from Tide catching up through. Ice is done for. Losing Arteezy on the left-hand side too. Evil Geniuses overextending, and Team Spirit reacting perfectly.
It took him a while to try to get on him, and then he had 19 Magic Wand charges, so Also healing salve used, they rotate to Doom. First rotation, got nothing out of it, so he will not have a TP scroll ready for another 30 seconds. Tiny, he needs to be active. I've seen different builds on Tiny. The one that I really like is just brown boots into Blink Dagger, have a Wind Lace for more move speed. This time around he decided to go for the Power Treads, which will delay your Blink Dagger. Usually you get it between 9 and 12 minute mark if you skip to upgrade your brown boots.
Thinking about the turnaround onto Mirror. Down to half HP from the chain stuns of Team Spirit though. And yeah, on that Tiny topic, I know we've seen in SA quite a lot. The brown boots straight into the Blink Dagger, like 6 or 7 minutes, and you are just running around the map finding pickoffs. Similar to what Arbed is attempting now. The coil again launched out. Wraith King half HP, but has the backup ready here to save him out. Shadow Shaman and the Grimstroke, they deter Arbed and force him to return to his mid lane.
Team Spirit is really good at figuring out what's gonna happen in the next minutes. They're already there. One TP rotation, one guy sitting behind him. They need that level 6. You don't necessarily need to put a point in reincarnation. It's just by having it, they see you're level 6. We'll think about whether they want to gank you or not twice before they do it.
Toronto Tokyo has a wave to clear out mid. And they put that Tide down bottom, plonk him in front of the tower, soak up the damage, stop the push coming in. Wherever the Doom goes, Collapse will follow. Herd Soul Ring and working on the phase boot, so he's incredibly tanky. And he should have Ravage on shortly, but you can't Ravage when you're doomed. TP response is arriving, and the Tide Hunter is just impervious to all this damage.
And you can't die from Doom when you're a Tide Hunter.
But at this point, no. When he's top of the net worth, he's highest level.
He's just out-regioning at this point. Meanwhile, they will be able to put some pressure on the top tower. Skellies are there to support, sitting behind Wraith King all the time. I don't think EG will try to make a move here. Maybe they have a good read. There's a one ward that's kind of scouting them out. At least one hero. Now Tiny mid.
Another coil from Arbed. Let's see if this one can pick up a kill, because Tiny snapped the coil thanks to the kick from Crit. But Mirror there with the shackles. Toronto Tokyo, the toss back onto Crit's Earth Spirit. Still sitting at 400 health with 7 stick charges, bottle charges, and everything else in between. Toronto Tokyo's flying off bottom lane. In comes the Wraith King. Blasts into the Ursa, Collapse. Gets turned off, and Ice is 1 hit away from death. A double for Yatoro coming in to react for his Tide Hunter.
I'm very impressed by the way Team Spirit is playing first 10 minutes of the game. They're just everywhere around the map. They're reading EG like a book. They know where they're gonna go. I'm also stuttering from how excited I am the way they're playing right now. And also the Tiny, he decided to go for the Strength Power Treads. It's something that makes the difference in that gank. He still had the Magic Stick plus a Fairy Fire, but a bit too tanky, limited amount of damage. Crit bought a Tome for himself, which got him to level 6. Power support's doing on Team Spirit side. Level 4 Grimstroke, Shaman getting closer to level 6. Could potentially make a rotation on the mid lane. Let's see if they want to smoke. Seems like they do.
Yeah, they might want to smoke down to bottom lane because this counterbot wave from EG.
They did not want to make too suspicious. Just want to show one hero on the map, otherwise it would be too obvious, but EG having a really good read as well.
They know this is coming. Retreat back from Ice and Fly. And Poshka, Toronto Tokyo can't get to the bottom lane, so they're going to try and wrap around into the triangle instead, but get spotted in the process. Maybe now the idea is to move on to mid lane. Tiny spends his combo, but it stops the push, and that's the most important thing there for Team Spirit, is that bottom tier 1 stays alive. They've got the tier 1 top of the Radiant, the Dire team, like you mentioned earlier on. It's Crit trying to contend with Mira. Another coil. Serpent Mords, X-Swell, Arbed, stuck inside, and the last stop. The Bowers of Grace hold him in place, and now the toss back again, and double kill for the Tiny. This movement has been so swift and slick from Team Spirit. EG don't know what's hitting them.
Dire structures are fortified.
The first usage of the Doom was not their first rotation and not getting anything out of it, and then the first time it was used on Tide Hunter, he survived. So right now, Ice, doesn't feel very just going in. They don't think they have enough damage. Also, Ice probably maxing out the Sorcerer. Would definitely love to have the power. Reduce, just get more gold out of it, going in the hand of Midas, sitting at the network drop. But I've seen Dooms just popping off completely. When I first saw it a few times, it wasn't really that great. The Hand of Midas, then you get a BKB Blink Dagger. It's almost every single time the same item build. but you're the king in the mid and late game. Like the double Doom, sometimes even triple Doom with the third Roche. You have enough mana to actually use all your abilities.
Yeah, you don't go to the late game, you bring the late game to you.
Exactly.
Get incredibly stacked. And there is that Hand of Midas, almost 13 minutes in. Coinciding with the timing from Tiny though, and that's why we see the TP top. Tiny with a Blink Dagger behind Yatoro. The Dire Observer Ward though, I believe, spots that TP rotation, so Evil Genius is going to try and ping pong themselves across the opposite side of the map, knowing that the Tiny won't be able to respond this time. And maybe finally collapse onto that bottom objective. On towards Collapse. Fly throws a few little projectiles at him. The Hellbear Smasher chipping away, but it's nice little tickles in comparison to the health pool and tankiness of the Tide right now, who can just stand his ground in front of that tower.
Collapse, what a boss. He tried to use the Trusty Shovel, then saw that they're going at him, stopped immediately. Like, well, I just don't want to go for it. I hope he decides to get a Pipe of Insight as the first item. It's a very expensive one, but he's going to mitigate all the damage coming out from the Earth Spirit and the Puck.
Mirror fast up. Not going to come. Didn't get the fair fire off in time. Big Ravage there allows Yatoro to get towards Abed. Toronto Tokyo looking for a combo. RTZ soulbound up to the Doombringer now, as they do have Miposhka still backing up this Tiny to try and retreat, but Isenside's chasing forward. But on the Inferno Blade, the slow down, the jump in from Abed, finally securing a kill and 2, 3 in a row for EG. And this tier 1 tower should eventually fall. The Team Spirit sticking around. Reincarnation. Do we have it there for the Wraith King?
He has a point saved, and finally gets it online. Unfortunately for them, Shadow Shaman didn't get his spells off. If he manages to drop off the Serpent Wards, I think the fight just stops there. They wouldn't get another kill on Tiny, possibly. Tiny, now with the Blink Dagger, will be able to jump the Enchantress. Enchantress also tanking up, going for Fluffy Hat, Power Tread Strength, Magic Wand. Might even get a Casual Clock just to be able to survive through that burst.
There it is. Collapse bided his time, and Toronto Tokyo attempts on to crit. But again, like you're mentioning, these tankier supports itemizing to deal with that Tiny combo, making sure they don't get burst down immediately. This Invis might catch them off guard though. Inkswell plus the Tombow from Toronto Tokyo, something they might not quite expect. But he'll show himself in that mid lane regardless. It's been quite slow and steady here from EG. It looked a little bit worrying in that position they were in earlier on, where the reactions from Team Spirit were coming thick and fast, but they've kept the farm rates up. Doom, of course, accelerating quickly. Puck now heading into the Witchblade, and that Diffusal Blade on the Ursa Warrior.
That's a big one.
Away.
This is when they take a fight near the Roche, possibly in a triangle, smoke up, and turn that into Roche. With Ursa maxing out to the Furious Vibes plus a Morbid Mask, there is enough damage to take down Roche. He can actually solo kill him once he gets that Diffusal Blade up.
It's quite interesting, yeah, to see the not only item builds but skill builds change because of the item builds, right? Because we used to see Ursa with the Battle Fury not really go for the second spell too early on. Overpower, thank you. Brain being a bit slow today.
It's okay, Gary.
You're used to it by now.
I'm used to what I'm saying, you know, a lot of mistakes, a lot of mispronunciations, so you're like, yeah, Gary, you're 10 out of 10.
It's one of those spells that always get mixed up with Overload, Overpower, and Overcharge. Like Io, Storm, and Ursa, I don't know, my brain just can't handle it for some reason. Too many overs, not enough unders. And there is that pipe you mentioned on the Tide. Collapse buys it up. Wants the Blink and the Solar Crest, it looks like. As his big buff-up items.
Team Spirit wants to farm up the Radiance on a Wraith King. This is going to be their big timing, plus a level 2 ulti on him. Fred misses it, but there is no Diffusal Blade yet.
And they're still coming in from Team Spirit to defend this Reincarnation.
Ravage is available.
Ravage and EG, they're slowed down by the Reincarn. RTZ gushed up, Inkswell's forward, the Hex catches crit. They'll go for the easy target first. Bring the Earth Spirit down as they get a Doom towards the Tiny, it looks like. Not able to completely finish off the Ursa Warrior, who enrages and hops back to safety.
Another Doom got wasted. The only good Doom they got was the Tiny on the bottom lane when they managed to get a kill on one support and a Tiny.
And they hold the Ravage, right?
Yeah, Ravage is going to be available one more time, but unfortunately for Team Spirit.
Oh, in we go. Inkswell combo. Fly, caught out. Completely off guard, and Ice just going to have to stun and run away.
Tiny will grant him a wish. He will fly once he uses the combo with that Ava toss.
Not sure the destination is quite as he would have expected. The Fly gets a free return trip anyway, 10 seconds and he'll be back alive. Good control of the map here from Spirit though. In the dire jungle, tier 2 gone thanks to Serpent Wards. Outpost already grabbed up, 18 minutes in. Very fast tempo from them so far.
Unfortunately for them, Wraith King had level 1 ulti there.
Oh,
it's a
sad.
huge difference. You know, it goes down by 80 seconds, and then you're ready to fight in another minute and 20. Now Radiance is online. Still not gonna feel that comfortable going in. Radiant using the scan, so they know they're in a triangle. It's all about that. We defend the Roche. We have a Ravage. We know the Doom is down. 2 big items on EG. The Fusel Blade about to be delivered to Ursa. Puck with the Witchblade on top of a 1,000 gold and Doom. He is coming back into the game. The War maxed out and Hand of Midas now has a BKB out of a sudden.
Look at him go. I think you're right, yeah. Team Spirit forcing EG to play in the less desirable portion of the map, that bottom right-hand corner. If they can get the tier 2, maybe balance the scales a bit, grab the outpost for themselves down there. Tier 1 tower mid, of course, prime objective for EG to take, as they are lacking a little bit in that structural damage right now. So they need some pickoffs to allow this to happen, but Team Spirit are giving them nothing. Blinking away from mid, realizing danger is lurking just around the corner.
They're playing the map so well, understanding when they need to go in, kind of protecting the entrance to the Roche pit. You can see skeletons around the Roche pit and the Hellbear Smasher, so everyone knows that the Roche is not being done at the moment. Skellies die.
Oh, little Skellies tooting around. A nice little move by Abed there. We saw him cut the way behind the tier 2 mid, so making sure that we're able to get something additional out of the map, but here it is. Roshan attempted. All of this controlled. Literally the past minute and a half, 2 minutes has been moving towards this moment, this point right here, like you were mentioning.
This is a big moment for Team Spirit. They get the Roche, they're dropping the Shadow Shaman wards, Reincarnation ready in 15 seconds. They can prolong a team fight with Ravage if necessary.
EG scan. The Troll Priest walks into the pit, and EG is smoked up, spotting out Mira. They see the Shadow Shaman, immediate silence, the jungle combo, Dota Tokyo and Inkswell. They have to call the tiny, but they lose Fly and crit immediately. The Soulbind comes out, Rogue still not dead. Nearly falling, the Doom. He comes in, but collapse snatches the Aegis. EG get the kill, but the main prize taken by the target, and Toronto Tokyo's back in. Second round of spells, catches it out, Artesia and crit. Oh dearie me, he bought back and died again.
Gets a triple kill. Can they chase? Blink Dagger ready in 3 seconds.
Top the tide. Good stop from Isosize, but that tiny Toronto Tokyo takes down a Doombringer, and Yatoro will actually claim that kill for himself, picking up a spree.
That fight was already done. They don't have... like, if they don't Doom Tidehunter there, which he did, but it's still a lot of damage. Toronto Tokyo went in on 3 targets, Avalanche plus Toss.
Well,
damage already done, pretty much, yeah. He did the budget Ravage there.
Dire's middle tower
Picking up the Aegis. Ranking was very close to also picking it, but, you know, you do not want to risk things. Doom going in, using the War Stomp. Hands kind of shaky.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Definitely looking shaky for EG overall. 15-4. That lead starting to build up for Team Spirit, hitting all their timings and keeping that pressure on the map. And now, prime position for them. Radiant team into the dire triangle. Cut out that wave, take the 2 remaining outer towers.
For the next fight, you can't even Doom Tidehunter. He has Aegis. It's even better. I believe it's even... Now they have 7 heroes against 5. Crit already bought back and died, so his item progression is just not gonna be there. The good thing going for him is that he found the Fillet Stone.
Oh, nice.
Shaman also holds
Abed.
1.
Oh, Abed. Oh, Abed. Toronto Tokyo nearly has it, but the face shift there, and I said, good play for Crit. But the guy in the back still finds the kill onto the puck. In come the Shackles, Mira holds him in place, and the Serpent Wards pull on EG into the ground. Arteezy, he's left here, he's on an island. There's no one to save the teddy bear. No picnic for you, and an absolute slaughter. Team Spirit 5 alive, they're going to go high ground now.
They just don't have enough damage. GG.
It's over.
Calling it.
They actually just tapped out. Team Spirit with some sublime team play. The control of the map, the reactions, the response to the Troy lane, everything. You check every single box. Team Spirit did it perfectly.
There they were so quick, just rotating. Sometimes, you know, it takes you a while. Do we want to take this fight? Do we not want to play against this tri-lane? Wraith King was getting so much. It's the support duo who read EG so well. Where they're gonna go, they were always ready, with one guy sitting behind them, the other guy possibly deeping in. They were reading pretty much every movement that EG did in this game.
And that's not as though it's, you know, a draft issue you can...
Convergent answer, right? Everybody's going to have different work, but when we actually look at it, humans are involved. What the ideal answer is, but when do the region ideas meld? Because I feel like there actually isn't an opportunity in this format for it to happen. I don't feel like you're really going to have that melding of ideas until we get to TI and potentially maybe even
do you agree that that TA might be a hero that all the teams agree upon that is pretty much busted and broken? Because I see it banned out.
TA seems pretty popular across all regions.
Yep.
I think tournaments are weird in Dota because you guys are talking about like sort of a solved meta. First of all, this is sort of off topic, but I don't think you can really solve the meta. But for that, oftentimes at tournaments, what it comes down to winning the tournament is playing the team.
Dire team ban.
Heroes, when people know they're the best heroes. I was actually talking to I was talking to one of the coaches, and the answer is very apparent, or not necessarily very apparent, but it's very apparent that you need to find the answer to something like TA, right? And what that coach actually said to me was like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of TA, or there are going to be a lot of TA answers, and it's not a surprise, and right?
It actually scales through time. Like TA, when it's first discovered, is completely broken and busted. Then it goes in gradients, right? The first gradient is teams start banning her. Second one is they start figuring out counters to it. Third, and I actually think the most important one is you start getting used to how busted the hero is, and you don't die to these two shots that you usually would, because you either itemize for it, or you're playing more carefully, or you're more conscious of how strong the hero is, right? So the hero becomes less and less effective as time goes by. Because of that. Be like a shark. Right.
Yeah. Just by nature of being played a lot.
Just by nature of being played a lot. The broken heroes are the strongest in the first week of the patch. After that, it kind of scales off.
Yeah, and if they're for longer than that, that's when like you need a patch for them, right?
The first week of them being actually discovered and played, by the way, don't get me wrong. Sometimes a hero is broken for months and no one's picking it, and then they figure it out.
Yeah, and also, I think like the real thing too is like once you hit that homeostasis where it's just you're rotating back on the old answers, and then the same answers come up. That's when a patch is super refreshing as well. But as we start to see these early bans, we're seeing a lot of the same host of folks that we would expect to see in those bans. Doom going to be added as well.
Actually, Viper banned out makes me think that Team Spirit might snatch either some hero that hates Break or TA herself, right? It's an option.
It was first picked in NA, the Viper. I think NA and SA, they do like their Viper, so it might just be a read on that. EG not so much, but they did like respect Quinn's Viper a lot, so they might just think like, oh, they have experience with this hero. They might have looked at. I don't know what's going on.
That's so cool.
I actually do like your concept though. The breaks coming.
Because this hero wasn't that popular in SEA or in China. Like he's picked up here and there versus PA versus Spectres, right? But versus Bristleback perhaps, but wasn't really that popular.
I think as the tournament goes on, especially when No Ping starts playing, we'll start to see like what these teams can do with this hero. That team picked this hero. They played at like like pretty much anything but one, and it just dominated all the games. These are some meta bans, right? Like
this is completely new. Feel like TA must be in the first two for one of these two teams.
Viper and Bat. Yeah, you're
Viper
right.
and Bat, right? Like, what else is there? There's Huskar and Venomancer.
I can't quite see.
I think Doom is with the Viper. Yeah.
Okay.
AA on the other side.
Geniuses.
Every now and then.
So when I was looking at players and what they're playing right now, mid players, it's Tiny and TA. Those heroes are most picked. Sometimes some Storms and the casual ones, but TA Tiny, they're so popular. And isn't TA kind of decent versus him as well? Like
versus Tiny?
Yeah.
I think so.
Remaining.
I don't know if you want a 2-3 TA from second pick. I think
5 seconds
maybe
remaining.
they feel the hero's strong enough to do that.
Yeah.
Like that's when you think the hero's broken, right?
When you can first phase it. And
Yeah, when you first phase it, not as a closer, right? Because as first pick, you can pick it on that. I don't know.
Of course. There's a chance for them to counter it a little bit with a.
Evil geniuses.
But I do like TA versus Tiny. It's a pretty good matchup.
Oh, team.
Ooh, okay.
Yep. Another
AA
hero.
band, Batrider band, they were ready for this. I think they predicted the Tiny pick, and they are ready.
It looks like a perfect pick, right? It's so good. AA banned out Viper. Yeah, he's strong. He's not easy with the break.
It's an Ice Inside Timbersaw.
Yeah.
Lion.
And the Lion. Okay.
Classic. Easy hero to open up. It always sort of solidifies your draft. You always have some stuns and catch and some burst.
And they played Timber plus Lion many times before in NA, so this is something that they're used to. This Lion can also just rotate away once Timber is 3, leave him there, rotate towards mid, get some. Not the greatest rotator, but still.
But you're freed to do what you want.
You can do whatever. Yeah.
Templar
And they go with the
assassin.
TAs. Okay. I mean, if one team wasn't gonna get it. But
this locks in the Tiny though, right?
This is Tiny 4.
I have seen a lot of CIS teams play Tiny Carry, particularly VP. I think they play the carry Tiny really well. They go like Phase Boost, Blink Dagger. They're sort of playing it as like a mid Tiny.
Just be aggressive. SEO does the same, and you're pretty much being the playmaker.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, if you have this TA, she's already. She can kind of carry, right?
She is the carry. She is a far priority, right?
Exactly. So the Tiny from that safe lane could still be the playmaker. You can do that.
Right.
Evil geniuses. Turn to ban.
With the direction of this draft currently, what else are you looking for Team Spirit?
Well, right now in the bans, they're looking to ban out heroes that are good versus TA. Since they picked her early, they do need to spend their next 3 bans, to sort of protect her in that sense.
Do you think this Ember? I completely agree with. I like the ban because of the Flame Guard. Just gets rid of the refraction, gets on top of her easily, right? I can completely agree with that. I've seen some teams ban out Venomancer, and even when Veno is laned into her, you just jungle, you ignore him. Eventually, you get refraction dispels, and it just ends up like, okay, you have a Veno on your team. I have a TA that's fast.
In this game, the one thing that might make the Veno work is that, as we were talking about earlier, Timbersaw frees up the support. So Veno alone doesn't counter her, but if you have a freed up support that can run at her with the Veno, that might be hard to deal with.
I agree, yeah.
I don't know if I would care about Veno so much this game. I just don't think that hero's that scary for mid.
That's scary, yeah, I agree.
It might be some weird scrim thing. That happens a lot.
I think we saw Veno yesterday as well on mid lane.
Yeah. And honestly, sometimes they pick Veno and they don't lane it versus TA still. And he just is good versus her in the game because you're still some like
just the dots and whatnot.
I want to say like pseudo melee, but TA just hits from so far now, so that's not even true.
I don't understand the range on TA anymore. It's
very high.
Busted.
Yeah.
Like if you get Quiver or Grove Bow, actually you're a drow.
The thing about the Veno TA matchup is if you hit the wards, I think they have 0 armor, and the Desolator applies on them. So your Side Blades, which goes 2,000 range now,
are just killing people.
Huge pure damage.
They actually ban out the TB and the Razor, so they kind of think alike.
Those are 3 TA counters, I would say, right? Like Razor, I don't think he dominates TA in lane, but he is pretty good versus her. And TB, like, he's just super high armor with illusion, super.
Also, the damage instances.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Yeah, I forget who it was on panel earlier who was really hyping up Razor against TA, saying Razor might be one of the answers down the line. Yeah, I was surprised by it as well. I actually have it written down, but I forget who actually said it. But now that Ursa ban coming out,
I can see it. Like Razor, your lane versus TA is pretty good. She'll farm, but if you have any sort of tempo with your supports, like some Clockwork who can run in with you, you can pressure into jungle, and your ulti destroys her, your Link destroys her.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited to see what the TA answers are in a few days. Like what people think those strong TA answers are, because different analysts are saying different things. Just ban it forehead.
Phoenix is one of them, right?
It's really good because you have so many damage instances coming from Phoenix, and it's also full comfort zone for Evil Genius's Fly for as long as possible. Fly Phoenix, exactly. Plus you have this line to cover you a little bit. You have the Hex, you have the Impale. It feels like a pretty good Phoenix game. Problem is obviously always the laning stage.
Yeah, but once again, I mean, we find ourselves in the scenario we're talking about how in these best of twos you want to be in the scenarios where you got everybody on something that they're comfortable on, and you're calling out names every single time that you see this locked in. You know, you got Fly, you got Ice. It's a good looking draft for EG so far.
I'm perhaps waiting for some Grimstroke, some. Mars might not be that great for Team Spirit, but Mirana, perhaps, that we talked about, looks pretty solid versus the Phoenix. They go with the Gyro. Okay, so that puts actually Tiny on the 4, right?
Wait,
that's most
you just had like a visceral reaction. Were you just trying to see, or did you really not like the Gyro?
I love Gyro. It's my most played carry, but I honestly didn't expect that at all.
Yeah.
I don't think that hero's been that highly valued. Everyone I message about Gyro tells me to shut up and go away. So it's very hurtful, actually. EG immediately with the Storm. I think that actually is one of the heroes that is quite good versus TA. I think if nothing happens, the TA can slightly outfarm Storm, but I can't remember what game I was casting. But
there was a game Storm TA
the
already.
Storm solo killed TA really early. Do you remember who that was?
I can't remember, no.
I think it might have been Vici Execration. I'm just making up stuff, but it happened.
It happened. I actually watched the game. I just can't remember it.
Take a page out of Kyle's book. He's very good at doing that. Just make it up. Just make it up.
Last time this matchup happened, Storm killed TA 15 times, and he just abandoned it in the middle of the match.
15 times.
It was really good.
Wow.
Well,
okay, so
if
Storm doesn't do well versus TA here, that means the CIS is definitely the strongest region, right? Because they...
I have no idea.
Yeah, not sure about that one. Not sure about that one.
But they go with the Mars. They go with their...
One of your classic heroes you mentioned.
Yeah. This is what they pick. I actually expected perhaps a Mirana Mars, and then you put the Tiny on that position 1 like we talked about. But they go with Gyro Mars, which is also solid.
When you do this, when you pick your cores as first pick, not last pick, it's because you feel like these two heroes have really good synergy in their lineup, and it's going to get banned out. You won't be able to get it last.
And they do have a lot of circles, right?
They do. Mars. The circle strats are very good in this game.
Geniuses turn to ban.
They ban out, actually, the Life Stealer, okay.
I'm thinking with the Gyrocopter a bit more. It is seen as a Timbersaw counter, but that lane is really like sus. It can swing both ways really hard. If Timber has a really good lane, he gets a lot of reactive armor, and you get kicked out of lane that's Gyro, it feels really bad. On the other hand, you always provide that magical damage, maybe some lockdown with the missile to kill that hero.
One thing that I see from Team Spirit, however, one obvious problem for me is lack of instant catch. It's a free Storm game, right?
Yeah.
You have no way of actually getting Abed decently, like Tiny perhaps.
What I think that means is because Mars can do that, but you need a lot of items.
Yeah, you need
Hood into Yules, I think, and then even a Blink on top of that. So maybe EG should look at shutting that down from the Spirit side and just like picking a really strong safe laner, which I think is when they function best. I don't know what happened last game. The Earth is super weird, but anyways.
How greedy do you think Morphling is? You don't really care about Morphling.
For EG?
Yeah. Because they ban out Grimstroke Mars Mirana that we mentioned for Team Spirit, but for EG, Morphlings,
it's good for Sharo, for sure.
Historically good versus Mars as well. You can fly over, maybe not versus Rebuke, but versus Gyro has always been decent. Do you care about that much? Like they banned out the Lifestealer, also a hero that's been played versus.
I think because there's a Tiny who's like a pretty weak 4 laner, you can definitely get away with this game.
Get it? Yeah.
The thing about Morphling is if he has a good lane, he's not like a slow hero who has to AFK farm. He's a carry who will pressure towers. You can even get like some Dragonlance on him and just hit towers.
They ban out the Void instead, which would make a lot of sense.
Spirit's just gonna pick like some Mirana here. Is that most likely?
My problem is
oh, sorry, no, they need a 5.
Yeah, they need a 5. Yeah, exactly. They have a Tiny 4, and they need some reliable catch. They go with the Disruptor. It's most played in CIS, yeah.
I mean, CIS teams have been playing this hero for like.
And it's another circle, right? Like
you do need a circle.
Mars, Gyro, yeah. There we go.
That's a good point.
All right. What do we think's gonna round out this draft?
10 seconds remaining.
Life Stealers, banned out, Void banned out.
Juggernaut. But
Jug.
I keep saying that and no one picks it. Like, I don't know if the hero's just not that good. Or if it's because I'm a support player, I want my core to do everything for me. Yeah.
A lot of damage instances.
It's a good PL game, right?
Yeah. It's pretty solid. You don't care about any of these heroes pretty much. Gyro AoE damage that people talk about, it doesn't really work that well against PL. Maybe Hood build?
Yeah, oh, I can see that working. That sounds pretty good. I think the lane normally can be sort of 50-50 with Mars, but just because, again, they see that tiny forward, they're confident that this PL can free farm. And I think that's when the hero's strong. Like, you need to get to this level 7 timing and start running at heroes.
Yep.
Think they'll be able to do that here?
I think so. I mean, Tiny should be weak in lane. It's the left side Radiant. Is that how this works? I don't cast much.
I'm not sure as well.
Okay. If the Mars Tiny is on Radiant, that's a lot better than them, just because you can pull in between your tier 1 and tier 2. If the PL's on Radiant, I think that lane should be super easy for him. Even if PL's on Dire, I think he should probably free farm.
For me, the main point in this game is the Storm Spirit Abed on that mid lane, because he can take over completely. There's, you have Disruptor and Tiny. You don't really care about that much. Yeah. You can itemize against it, so if he rolls out of control, he will make enough space for this PL to just go ham and...
I mean, if you ask me, I have to pick EG because I'm from NA.
Okay, I'm going with Spirit for sure then.
But I think the draft is pretty good.
You gotta give Spirit credit. The draft, like you guys said, looking pretty good. And then on top of that, they've already created an upset here by off with at least a draw. At very least, they're going to be able to get a draw. If they get it 2-0, how many ripples is that going to throw throughout the entire group stage? We're going to be jumping into the game right now, and we're going to see if they can keep this upset going or if EG is going to be able to knot it up.
I'm dead.
Are you guys gonna play the game?
Welcome aboard Tiny Airlines. Do not fasten your seatbelts.
Right, Lacoste, on the one hand, we've got a lot of circles, the Venn diagrams from Team Spirit, my favourite kind of draft, but EG with a lot of disengage, the Timber, the PL, the Storm, ways to escape from the circles and bisect them.
Yeah, this lineup from EG is very good at going in and out of the fights. They want to just keep repeating that with the Phantom Lance reset. Same goes for Storm Spirit. Then you have a heal coming out from the Phoenix. Timber, so in and out, one of the best heroes to do so, and not relying too much on the cooldowns. The only big cooldown you have is Phoenix Supernova and the Finger. Yeah. Even without that, EG's lineup can pretty much keep fighting all the time. History might repeat itself one more time. Position for Tiny. I just don't like the hero. I just feel the whole potential of the hero is being wasted. You're using 2 out of 4 abilities pretty much.
So what's the kind of idea behind that? Is it that mid Tiny just gets to items faster and you use the magic damage earlier game and it feels better because position 4 Tiny is a bit more delayed, or?
Position 4 Tiny, like, he soaks up a lot of farm, a lot of safe farm, because if you don't get a lot of early kills, you need to give him a lane to farm a Blink Dagger. Especially if the game slows down, he will need to be taking up the farm, let's say, Dire tier 2 tower. This is where he wants to get his Blink Dagger up, because it's kind of a secure space to farm, especially if it's warded up.
Very importantly, the panel was bringing up the catch factor onto the Storm Spirit, where Tiny is pretty much the only reliable way to catch Abed when he is on this Storm Spirit.
They have a Disruptor. I love that position 5 that they picked as a last pick. Grimstroke got banned out with the Disruptor. It's kind of a CIS classic where it provides you long range reach. He's out of mana, glimpse back into the Static Storm. No one likes to play into that. You can't really itemize. I want to see what his item is gonna be this time around, but BKB feels like a safe choice. Maybe even a second item when you're playing against the Disruptor. Tiny, even Gyrocopter. It's a ton of magical damage. Looking at the off lane, Ice should have a pretty good time. There is a lot of harassment early on from Gyrocopter, Rocket, plus one of the best spells early on in the game, Thunderstrike. So you need to be careful about that. One of the reasons why he brought a bit more Legion, 6 tangos plus a healing cell, and also decided to get a Timber Chain. Playing into 2 ranged heroes, you don't get too much value out of it.
And especially with Crit backing him up, he's always got that disengage with the Earth Spike, able to catch up with Poshka or Yatoro. And also the fact that we know that Timbersaws like to be left alone, level 3, level 4 or so, and Lion could look for those rotations into mid, where, as AUI was saying, as we've mentioned before, this Storm Spirit matchup against Templar Assassin, it can look very even, but some of the times we see that level 3, level 4 from Storm, get the Vortex on the tower, kill the TA off, and it snowballs out of contention from that point. If you add in a Lion to the mix, you've got another stun, and a real good kill threat.
Toronto Tokyo using these side blades nicely. 4 hits in a row. Dealt damage to Abed. Doesn't have bottle yet. Meanwhile, Abed does, so he can go and pick up one of the side runes.
Double deny there coming through from Abed off of 1 Vortex. Wonderfully done.
Be careful. Toronto Tokyo playing it really well. Just protecting the top water rune. No one's making a move to the bottom. Abed will just go there and refill it.
Yeah, needs to do so. And then down in that bottom lane, we have seen, the Mars, the Tiny, tossing the Phoenix around. Difficult early days for Fly. Very squishy hero, could get caught out by some stuns. But Phantom Lancer so far has had a pretty good early lane stage, guarded by that Phoenix. As there goes the initial burst onto Fly, just chipping away at EG a little bit there. 12 and 6 on the Mars. Starting to rack up a fair number of denies. But the problem begins top lane already. Ice level 3. Dragging wave around, and this is where that Lion can start to maneuver himself in towards that mid lane or around the rune spawns. Crit though under vision. Radiant wall there that we see, and a dire one up on the high ground will spot out the Lion's movements. Templar Assassin right now starting to fall behind, hasn't really had the opportunity to go and farm the small camp, which we quite often see from these Templar Assassins in the mid lane. Very much having to play the straight 1v1 lane matchup. It's also blocked up by a sentry camp. Thank you, Observer. That's another good reason why he's not been able to do it.
Oh, very smart. Something that you don't expect, but we talked about pretty much the same thing, actually. Is that ward in? It's in. So EG and Team Spirit both blocked the small camp. It's being pinged out. Stupendous. Not getting more farm than what you get from the lane.
Yeah, super important against both of those mid laners. Tiny gonna have to run it back. I don't know if he's brought some more regen out to him. It was very for that Tiny to stick around with. No real mana pool there to play around with as Abed deals the water rune, but mirrors Tiny. Rotating in with a toss. Does get the mango for the avalanche, and Abed taking a lot of damage from the right click.
Tiny needs to be careful. Another pull could make a kill.
Dive forward, you're right, and flies on top of it. Body blocks up the Tiny. Mirror right back with a Vortex, hexed and slain. First blood for Abed.
Not just that, he's also going to be picking up the enemy bounty rune. TP's back to the mid lane. And also a water rune. Can he get it? Toronto Tokyo is already there, Chris.
That's still dangerous. Toronto Tokyo. The refraction charge is going to be burnt on cooldown. 8-1, 1 fairy fire, the damage coming thick and fast. Neboshka rotates in to try and save the TA, and so will Tiny with an avalanche. Looking for Abed with a toss spot. Abed's fast enough to run it back, while Toronto Tokyo is being burnt alive here, but the up to him. And the refraction comes back up again. Still being burnt down by Fly with a dive, and the fiery spirits, they kill the TA in the end.
Tiny, he needs to get this kill. Art Spike ready in a second. Crit, can he deny himself? He cannot. At least he gets a free TP. If he denies himself there, needs to spend 100 gold. Nicely done by EG. They rotate both of the supports. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Arteezy, he needs a cell. Someone needs to TP there and bring him a healing cell. Ice on the top lane feels pretty secure. Just having a ring, 2 points in reactive armor, going straight into Hood. No shenanigans. My man, he knows that can't afford to... remember back in the days when... players were so greedy. What if I get mana boots, not even a casual cloak, and try to get the Bloodstone first item?
Straight up. There's a stun. Chain disables. The support's rotating into that mid lane. And again, they are snowballing this Abed Storm completely. Shutting down that Templar Assassin, who was already struggling in the CS department. 17 and 4 on her. Well, Storm Spirit now 31 and 8. So pretty much doubling up on the CS.
EG just playing around Abed. First 6 minutes going for a bottle refill, securing the runes. He is level 6 now, and they can start putting some pressure on the tower. It's not going to be a lot of damage, but it's going to be some chip damage.
Yeah, because you mentioned that Arteezy would want a south bottom, right? PL is now pulling waves. He's alone, left completely isolated and deserted bottom lane. No one came down there because both supports TP'd mid. Crit brought a salve and bottle refilled Abed to keep that pressure and tempo up in the mid lane and forcing Team Spirit to come into mid.
Keeping the catapult alive, dealing a ton of damage. Not what I expected. Zip available, goes across. Level 1 glimpse, not enough. They do not want to waste more time. And this puts off some pressure off PL, as you mentioned. Same goes for Timbersaw. They're getting the levels while keeping them busy on the mid lane. Once Arteezy gets level 6, he can easily just go to jungle. Collapse has that Arena of Blood available, but Arteezy choking in the trees.
Yeah, just doppelgangers away. And Mira, so far this position for Tiny, like you were mentioning, has had a pretty slow start, and that may be a bad omen of things to come for Team Spirit in this match. Because Timbersaw's been left alone, Gyro has ditched top lane and gone back to farm some stacks in the jungle. That leaves Ice to pick up some of these big tanky items, and I don't know, it feels so bad for Team Spirit to leave that Timbersaw alone up there, because he's able to go and shove that tier 1 tower, open up the map for his team, and start being that tanky nuisance.
I'm not sure how they kill Ice. Next, they need to bring numbers. They need Static Storm, Gyrocopter to drop the multiple rocket barrages and a cooldown to be able to kill him. Because right now, with that early hood, 7 minutes hood, has 7 stick charges, a bracer, I don't think he dies. Like, he should feel pretty safe for the next 10 minutes, pretty much.
It's like an impossibility. AG have also scouted out a stack being built up in that top jungle. Fly glimpsed back into the Gyrocopter's damage, can't dive away. Couldn't even catch the stick charges. Chain's done perfectly. They will defend their stacks, get a D-ward them. Miposhka making sure the vision from EG doesn't stay around in that aggressive portion of their own jungle. A crit onto Tiny. Carving the 8-minute rune. It does spawn bottom though. A regen there for the TA, but a toss back into the Gyro again. Getting the outer involved. Storm Spirit's there with the Vortex. Tiny should get burst down. But Arbed running pretty low. Limited on mana. Oh no, he's
what
fine.
is it? Pop the mango straight away and gets on top of it. Bottle refill, and did it happen? It did. EG Fly manages to get it. Keep refilling it. This is something that they've done in the Singapore Major. Play around Abed whenever he's playing the Storm Spirit, and here it comes. One more bottle refill. He never needs to go back, and I like his itemization, what he's doing. I've seen a lot of Kaya Sange, Storm Spirit. He's not messing around. Going straight into Orchid. His next item probably going to be just a BKB to be able to have that sustain. They have no abilities whatsoever that go through magic immunity.
That safety against the circles as well. All that team fight from Team Spirit. It will be here soon, you know, Gyrocopter closing it on 6. We've got the arena like you mentioned. Static Storm will be up in the next minute or two. But EG
is under attack.
Getting themselves out on the map once again. Arbed stealing some stacks. 2 supports connecting with the Timbersaw top, while you mentioned the Phantom Lancer now, you know, level 6, so perfectly fine for him to go and jungle himself through towards that top lane. And a completely different story to game 1, where Team Spirit were the ones very heavily reacting and very snappily getting into position to fight. It's been EG dictating exactly what the moves have been.
It's a bit of a different game, because previous game, Storm jumped on this position for Tiny, who is level 4. Doesn't contribute that much, uses Avalanche, still manages to die.
And a dominating streak for Abed, 4,600 net worth on him. That TA starting to catch up little by little, farming through the Ancients, clearing through whatever little stacks have been left to her as well.
No time you kill Templar Assassin, it feels like you kind of killed Meepo type of a hero Flash farms.
Is under attack.
Because it's not just the money you get from the kill. 20-30 seconds where she's not farming, and you think about the GPM she's getting, like that's 400, 500 gold, maybe more with the stacks she's able to take down. You are crippling the Templar Assassin very quickly.
And this is what I talked about. The tier 1 tower has fallen. You see Tiny top lane, tier 2 tower wants to get some farm. Will soak up some of that easy farm, safe one. Not even gonna get the last hits, it's very hard.
And they jump on Yatoro. And it says Ice's job now to come and play in the mid lane. Just very systematic from EG. From top lane and towards mid. Claim up these objectives and try and use some of their own ulti abilities here. Supernova, Finger of Death. They spot out the TP from Mira. Tiny, straight up jump from Arden Storm. The Avalanche charging the Static Storm. Spear there, the arena. Well done, onto Albert. Eyesight still pushing forward though. The Hex and the catch on the collapse. Not coming up to finish him off. And Fly takes down Mirror's Tiny Wall. And the Figure of Death. The Supernova lands. I'm sure you killed the Storm Spirit, but the cost was dear.
Is under attack.
Egg popped off. Pretty much he was the only one who was trying to hit it, and then Finger comes, first Finger damage. 4 crit on top of it, they will get the tower. Ice's Eyes is just not killable at the moment, and if he decides to get a Vanguard, I don't know how they kill him. Like, maybe it's a bit of an overkill if he wants to upgrade. Oh, collapse.
Well, Fly trying a bit of a dewarding mission there, unsuccessful in his attempt.
Glimpse ready, but it's only level 2, so out of reach, and it's also a Timber Saw, so no point to waste mana. Meanwhile, all this was happening. Arteezy gets the free gold from the tower, keeps farming the jungle, getting very close to his Diffusal Blade, just needs 400 gold. I wouldn't mind seeing Hood also on him, because there's a bunch of magical damage, like second item Hood on PL feels very strong.
Yeah, tank yourself up, allow your Phantom Lancer to actually get involved in these fights. We are still holding on though as Team Spirit. Gyrocopter not looking too bad in the old net worth, but there it is, that catch on Storm. So vitally important they get that kill, but you lose out, what, 3 heroes in the exchange. Good Supernova, Tier 1 tower's dead, and that Finger of Death right at the end onto Yatoro. Picking off the Gyro in the trade. A good little fight from EG there, and all dictated by these catapult timings. Much smoother from them. And it's down to Spirit now.
Team Spirit does not have a good hero against the Timber Saw. They don't have a Spirit Vessel carrier. They don't have a percentage-based damage. So he's gonna feel pretty safe. Like, this might be the game where Ice's Eyes just ends up with 0 or 1 death in the end, no matter who wins.
Oh, hell. He's being pinged out. Has no idea this is coming, but he gets the doppelganger. No! The real one's got inside the Storm. Spear back and dead. The unfortunate situation for the Phantom Lancer where he spawns inside the field.
Doesn't matter if it's the high ground, if it's a cliff, he will always find a way to get stuck, Gary.
That's the Arteezy way.
Top tower.
A good move though from Team Spirit. You know, using these circles we've been talking about, getting on the board, finding core kills, and Collapse leading that charge. He is the carry right now of their team. Top of the net worth. And he has all of the abilities they need to pick off these more elusive targets in the Storm and the PL. Never feels like there's a rush for EG though, does it? It's always Team Spirit scrambling to look for fights, trying to build up their items, catching up in this kind of game.
I saw a play from Nico when Execration was playing, when he used Branch to get out of the static field. Yeah, the static field, kinetic field. Could have possibly been done the same thing with the Ironwood tree there.
Ooh, could have been an idea, yeah.
I'm not 100% sure it works, but I believe it does. You know, we analysts, casters, you know what we say, I'm gonna reveal a secret. If you're not certain about something, you say, last time I checked it, it was working, or to be even more professional, like last time I tested it, it looked like you're doing some extra work, and then you say, yeah, it worked.
I was in demo hero mode last night.
I spent whole night, didn't even sleep, was just testing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this is how it's worked with like Sprout and Cox, right? Like, there's people trapped inside. If something takes their place, they have to get pushed out somewhere. Tiny gonna get pushed into the grave by the Storm Spirit, and that Phoenix yet again controlling that middle lane and that dire triangle.
That's the Orchid reveal for the Storm Spirit, so he can get easy pickoffs on the side lanes if someone wants to push. Panel talked about what the itemization for Mars in this game should be. Hood of Defiance into Yield Scepter, so you can survive through the initial burst, and also have that setup for the Storm Spirit. You have also a way of removing Fiery Spirits, removing that silence as well on top of it.
Man, Ice. You've kept saying he's going to be unkillable, and he might have 0, 1 deaths.
No, I don't think he dies. I don't think he should die at all. Now that seeing that Vanguard is up and that he's going for the Guardian Greaves.
Yeah, I saw that pick. I was like, okay, he's actually gone for it. Might be overkill, like you mentioned, but he can just do what he's doing now. He has sat mid for about 3 minutes, just pushing wave, making sure that there's no pressure at all on his own tier 1, and that leaves a complete wide open map for Arteezy with 150 CS 16 minutes in, Diffusal Blade with a hood. Be feeling quite strong and ready to fight. But they don't need to force anything. They can just keep scaling, keep farming. You know Team Spirit eventually will want to come to you.
Whenever you have PL in the team and the matchup, the carry-to-carry matchup is good, you don't feel rushed. You don't necessarily need to go in and seek out the fights. Seems like it's just going to be a tier 2 for tier 2. Both teams playing with the catapults, a lot of damage coming onto these towers. Team Spirit actually backing off. They only see Phantom Lancer on the top, so they are a bit worried.
That's a good point you brought up, and I think Lizard mentioned it as well. Gyrocopter against Phantom Lancer, and we've always thought historically that, oh, he's got AoE damage, he can clear illusions, but it's that double-edged sword, right? If the Phantom Lancer gets on top of the Gyrocopter, he doesn't really deal with the illusions that well.
Yeah, it's really not that great, especially once Phantom Lancer gets that tanky item, which most likely is going to be hard eventually. Then the damage output from Gyrocopter is really not noticeable.
Yeah, you can take the illusions down to like half HP and then they're all done for. And look at this. Timbersaw just TPs into the middle of 5 heroes, basically.
Thanks to Glimpse.
Glimpse back all the way to top lane again, so tier 1 should finally be claimed by Team Spirit here as Evil Geniuses. They are putting themselves in a position to contest this. Are they on division? The Team Spirit know this is coming. They spot out the Timbersaw. And they full on leg it away from that tier 1 mid.
Timbersaw is, I'm back, baby. I'm back on the mid lane. You glimpsed me. I'm ready to go in one more time.
You thought you got rid of me? You thought you know who I am?
Some damage dealt to tier 4 tower, 330, not too bad. First Roshan still alive. Spear.
Phoenix. That's a target they can go for.
Not sure if they needed a bit of an overkill there with the Static Storm.
And Abed farming away. Gets himself up to that Kaya now. But yeah, tier 1 mid still standing, and Team Spirit struggling to get a firm grasp in this game. 3k lead starting to build up for Evil Geniuses. And again, it is that situation where they really do just want to extend this game out. There's no panic, no rush.
Exercise just building up stacks inside the Roche pit. Haste available, Storm Spirit will pick it up.
And then he's back into mid lane.
They tried. He tried to make something happen. It feels like EG wanted to do Roche, but realized maybe we don't have that much damage once Phantom Lancer joins. We have, but he was playing the top lane. So, a couple of seconds waiting, nothing too serious. There was this window where Arena was down for 60 seconds. Same goes for Static Storm. Static Storm will be up in 30.
And they will chip away at Roshan.
Are scanning.
Very fearful play from Team Spirit, though. They're scanning the bottom tier 2, pushing out with a Tiny. 2 heroes holding ramp in that bottom jungle. Gyro farming behind and TA in the Ancients. So Roshan tested, and Storm Spirit, one of the best Aegis carriers in the game. Gonna have absolutely free reign in that next team fight. And now, execution-wise for Team Spirit here, it has to be so spot on. This next team fight could just be the game-ending move.
Abed can't afford to go for more greedy items, especially now that he picked up the Aegis. It's not so much about the Aegis, it's about the neutral item. Found the Nether Shoal, something that Phantom Lancer likes to hold. But he went for a hood anyway, so they give it to the Storm Spirit, and now he can go into the Bloodstone, especially with Aegis being picked up.
Yeah, go straight into those late game items.
No need to get a BKB.
No. Kaya Sanj coming up. Be a Timbersaw as well. So he's got that status resistance, all that tankiness which we've already seen from him. His presence on the map has been insurmountable. Sticking in that mid lane and making sure Team Spirit have to make silly little moves like this. Backstabbing the tier 1 tower with a Tiny. One more hit from Mira. But he bought a Blink Dagger, so Tiny probably quite pleased with himself in that, as long as they don't lose any more. There's the Arena Spear catching out Crit. 1-for-1 trade on the tier 1 grab by Team Spirit. Collapse with a TP home though, now Disruptor. Do we get the escape out of here? I don't believe so. Phantom Lancer's on your tail. A 2-for-1, the tier 1 grabbed up by Spirit, but this is still EG gunning it. Straight down towards that dire base.
Phantom Lancer's getting huge. Hood done, as we mentioned, now going into SNY. On top of the Imp Claw, so he deals a ton of damage. Ice Ice one more time. Not killable, they're completely ignoring him.
He's just a monument to tankiness right now.
It's the thing about the support. Position 5 doesn't really do too much to get against the Timber. Neither does your position 4. Offlaner, he can't afford to get a Spirit Vessel. Position 4, it's pretty much always the same item build. You need that Blink Dagger to get on top of people. Position 5 will not get enough farm, and like even if you decide to get a Spirit Vessel, he will have a way of dispelling it because it comes down very late.
They've got to catch him with his stacks down, with like Meld Strike, everybody there.
I don't think it's enough, Gary. I actually don't think it's enough.
For even a chance then.
Yeah, right now he has Kaya Sanj, he has the Vanguard, Armor, Hood of Defiance on top of it, holding a Bracer, which gives him even more magic resistance.
Oh, he's toying with him now. He's just standing in front of their tier 2, holding the creep wave, keeping the push going while the rest of his squad, they're down bottom, they're farming triangle.
Hodl, wait. They can't touch him. He has 3,000 HP, effective HP. It's probably around 6,000, to be more honest.
Yeah, probably. And the fact that stuns just water off a duck's back. Don't touch him.
Middle tower is under attack.
A great spot here for EG to be in. Ancient stack built up for Arteezy. 2 tier 2 towers ready to be grabbed up by them in the mid and the bottom lane. And this first Aegis really has allowed them to take some pretty supreme map control, but it has to be said, Team Spirit, they've kept that net worth lead at around 3k. They are still farming very nicely. TA is up there, close to where the Phantom Lancer is. Gyro hasn't slipped away, so they are starting to hit some of these important item timings themselves. Like the BKB on TA is going to be big for them.
TA has been slowed down. This is not the type of a game that TA wants to play. She wants to be out there on the map, putting some pressure, possibly invading enemy triangle, getting some kills, also stealing Roshan from a TA lineup, always gonna feel good. I'm just watching it ice. I'm not even moving my mouse, Gary. Checking what he's doing. If they want,
is that your therapy?
This is my therapy, exactly. I just chilling.
Nice mug of tea with a bit of honey in it, watching Ice Timbersaw.
I want to see if they decide to make a move on him. Like, he dies if they bring 5 heroes.
Well, they can move top instead. A stun onto the gyro, glimpse away. Arbet sent off to the other side of the map. And crit into a sacrifice from EG. While Mira getting caught up here by ISSI. Some good traps to slow down the Phantom Lancer. There with the Lancer, the Sunray coming. Mira attempts the TP, but sliced and diced by Ice. Well, Storm Spirit, the Yules into Spear setup. Arbed caught with a couple of chain stuns with the home missile coming through, but Yatoro needs the help of the glimpse.
Good glimpse back. A bit of a lag. We'll disconnect and reconnect quickly.
I'm done. He'll be back just fine. Is that his Bloodstone finish now, Lacoste?
Yeah, it's Bloodstone flying to him. Phantom Lancer doesn't have anything queued up. It should be another tanky item.
Skadi, maybe?
Skadi feels good. You're playing against the 2 range heroes. The slow is insanely good. And either that or a heart. I would kind of prefer Skadi because you're playing into 2 ranged cores. If it was a melee, maybe a Skadi would have been a better choice, but we'll see what he decides to go for. Bet ready to go.
So is Yatoro. There we see reactive armor stacks for the Timbersaw. Some nice tanky talent choices from the Phantom Lancer. And with that Skadi or the Heart, whatever it might be that you mentioned, only going to increase his tankiness.
Timbersaw's still deciding, what do I want to buy? Wants that Guardian Greaves, but does not want to spend gold. So he's changing his item build quite a lot. Disassemble Kaya and Sanj, get the Bloodstone, have a Sanj, possibly upgrade to Heaven's Halberd against the Gyro, against the TA. Gotta be great.
Oh, he can disassemble his Vanguard as well, can't he, for that Vitality booster? That's so good. We'll see what he turns everything else into. He'll have like a ring of health and stuff like that.
This is something that pro players have been doing much more lately, just getting more efficiency from the items by disassembling.
Let's wrap around. Team Spirit.
And there we go. And you again.
Yules into Spear coming. Standing Storm onto Arteezy with the field. The circles all overlapping towards the Phantom Lancer. Arteezy, he's got a doppelganger. He's still alive. And they turn on the Polska. Disruptor. And the Sunray heal allows the Arteezy PL to cruise through to this victorious fight for EG. Mira zipped on, zipped towards Arbet. Will find the Tiny on the backside. And Toronto, Tokyo. It's BKB to TP. They're on the run.
Are you guys gonna play the game?
Moving back to their fountain. That was their aggressive move, and it just flounders, falls flat on its face.
Once EG gets a kill or two, and if egg is still available, they pop that egg, fight's completely over. They don't have enough attack speed to kill it. Templar Assassin is not gonna stand there, especially if BKB is down. Gyrocopter also forced to use an earlier BKB in the fight. Now we have a Bloodstone on the Storm Spirit complete. We have Phantom Lancer going for the Scotty that we talked about, and you have a Bloodstone on Timbersaw, also keeping this casual ring, so he disassembled Kaya and Sanj. It was enough, you know, he got something out of the item, he got 0 deaths from it, and yeah, Bloodstone done, Heaven's Halberd done.
Dagon next, yeah? No.
Has Shiva's Guard.
No, Shiva's, please. Life you know you want to buy Dagon 5. And Abed there, heading into Shiva's Guard as well, apparently. So we'll see if we have a bit of a switch up between the Timber and the Storm Spirit, both considering the same sort of itemization.
They like to toy with their items, that's the one thing that I noticed. I wouldn't mind seeing either a BKB or Aghanim Scepter. This is one of the best ways you can protect the egg with and just keep them in place. So both Timbersaw, it's a setup for a big Spike for Lion, or Phantom Lancer to just deal damage with the illusions. Arteezy, we can see that he is burstable if it's executed properly, but there's a Sunray on top of him, plus a hood, a lot of damage that he can soak up. It's not, if he's caught alone, he's gonna die. You know? Sometimes my analysis is really on point. If they lock him down for 5 seconds, he's dead. Very nice, Lacoste, thank you very much. But if there's a team backing him up with the Sunray, with the, like Timbersaw going in, possibly using Heaven's Halberd pre-BKB, this is something they need to be very careful about.
So much more difficult for Team Spirit. Because we were saying even, you know, 10, 15 minutes in, the execution from this Dire squad has to be really perfect. So far, you know, the spell casting's been on point. It's just
Radiant's bottom
it's not been quite there in terms of where they are taking the fights. The positioning of EG has been one step ahead this time around. And Storm Spirit thinking about the go on Tiny. There's the Yule Spear. Abed getting caught out with the chain stone. Zerd Spike onto Tiny. Abed with a bit of mana left. Gets over the arena, but the glimpse back into the field. Catching out the Storm.
Big kill. 400 gold for Mira. Not the hero that you want to give it to, but it is what it is. Roshan will respawn in a minute and 20 seconds. Tier 3 items starting to drop. Quickening Charm for Team Spirit.
And Roshan a minute away. So Storm Spirit will be alive.
Radiant are scanning.
And Radiant even scanning in the pit, just to try and make sure there's no funny business happening over to that side of the map. And they're even smoking out here.
Arteezy would love to farm his Scotty, just needs 100 gold. There's already Courier in the secret shop, which is not secret anymore. They definitely need to change the name of that shop.
What do you want to call it?
Everyone knows about his shop.
A very well-known shop. Smoke into smoke. Everybody dance around the Roche pit. Toronto, Tokyo, getting some traps down as Isosize.
Isosize playing the previous patch, or you could scout things out in the Roche pit with Courier.
Doesn't work now. Collapse and Miposhka thinking about making a move, but yet again, it's a Timbersaw, boys. You can try, you can have a crack, but I don't think you're going to be able to take that man down.
Radiant's Courier.
They want someone else. Courier will work. Plate mail gone. Isosize loses his Courier this time, and Roshan respawning in 1 second.
Are you guys gonna play the game?
It's the only thing they can kill for Isosize. Hero cannot die. Courier is pretty much the only thing.
Susceptible to death.
Dire's middle tower.
Although Roshan is alive, but the trouble is here with this really interesting setup is that Team Spirit are in Radiant Triangle. They're defending Roshan.
While Fly is scouting things out with Fire Spirits inside the Roche pit, just to make sure that they're not doing it.
And EG are on your base. Tier 3 is taking a lot of damage. Roshan now being attempted by Team Spirit, it looks like. They're in the pit with a Meld Strike and minus armor. Roshan not dropping quickly enough though, and this is going to allow Isosize to move himself forward.
He has no
through the pit. You're right, he doesn't, but they're still going to get in here on top of him. Oh, crit with a Blink Hex. Finding the target with the Earth Spike. Before that coming, they've got the cable part of the time of the Tiny. Mira might get a combo off. Isosize, he's still at half HP. You can't touch this map. He's too strong. Pops his Bloodstone, and breaks the vision up on the high ground, making sure that Team Spirit can't execute. Crumbling Collapse split down, and Yatoro, he can't continue with the egg.
They need to get
high ground, they've got a TP home towards the Tokyo's done for. Abed's onto the bars now, and Team Spirit, they're all dead.
Even without any stacks, Ice goes in, soak up pretty much all the damage. He was worried for a second, you know, maybe I can die, pops the Bloodstone, Sunray on him. This is the second Rosh Cheese, Aegis plus Shard. Let's see who gets the Shard. Probably gonna give it to Phantom Lancer, because his Shard feels really good, and that's exactly what they do with Poshka. We'll go for the Courier, not gonna get it in the end, not much damage, Glimmercape TP out. And right now, EG in full control of this game.
Yeah, they're strapped in. Seatbelt secured for them this time. 10,000 net worth lead. And like you say, with all that, the goodie bag from the Roshan pit, making the situation with Team Spirit look incredibly difficult to handle. And ISSI stacks himself up a nice little double or triple wave there. Arteezy's on your tier 3 with a catapult top.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Open up this base. ISSI, he's under tier 4s. He's been a cheeky devil, isn't he? Hey, look at me. I'm a Timbersaw. I can do this. I can do that. You can't do anything to me.
Top barracks are under attack.
Gotta get them all. All those stacks, 30 reactive armor, into tier 4s.
Go on then.
Nope. Now back into tier 4s.
Static Storm, Maelstrom. Timbersaw, half HP. Doesn't give a bloody damn about that damage and control. He just can't be touched. Alright, yeah, glimpsing it. Another spirit back. Timbersaw dying. Timber's dying. Oh, they got him. ISSI's finally fought now. Arteezy will lose the Aegis. Team Spirit, they hold on. But dear hope around that tier 4 towers. Arteezy, you'll stop again. A nice arena spear. But this is Team Spirit fighting back, defending their high ground as Fly. Huge Deso hit there. Nearly close to the Phoenix, but Mirror the toss-up. There's Supernova. Here comes Abed. Liquid Death zapping down onto the TA, and they will get to Tokyo. Now they come back in full force with ISSI's second life.
I think they will try to take one more fight possibly if EG doesn't go and try to end the game on tier 4 towers. Like ISSI was toying with them. He went in, tanked a lot of the damage, and the nice execution from Team Spirit. First the spear into Talkback, into the Static Storm. 50 seconds.
Your spear maybe. Kinetic field there. They can't touch Abed now.
No buybacks on both cores, so they can clear up the tier 4 tower.
Spear back to Fountain. They don't get him in there. Abed running low on mana though. Tier 4's still looking reasonably healthy here. EG have taken 2 lanes of barracks, but I think EG have time.
Respecting these abilities that can move you out of your position. The only one that they lack is Magnus. You have a Tiny, you have a Spear, you have a Glimpse as well, so need to be very careful how you're going to approach. Tier 4 tower still alive.
Just 1 lane to go into now though. Team Spirit having to deal with the super creeps coming in from 2 different sides. So potentially a little bit more breathing room for Team Spirit. The fights, when they get them under tier 4s, look pretty decent. Glyphing up towers, getting all that build damage out, all their circles landing. There are just so many targets that EG have out on the map that Team Spirit can't really contend with. I guess you can start thinking, you know, the buyback on ISSI, if he does die again, could signal some worries here for Evil Geniuses.
I wouldn't be too worried. Phantom Lancer going into Heart, taking up the illusions even more. Storm Spirit has Aghanim Scepter done on top of Ceremonial Robe. You don't want to get this item when you're playing Storm Spirit. You get the level 20 talent, you get that Ceremonial Robe, status resistance, and magic resistance down by 10%.
So good. So do you think ISSI is going to be telling Arteezy, hey, you've got buyback, go save up money for it. Go and do what I just did. Stand under tier 4s.
Are you guys going to play the game?
I'm dead.
They might do it, yeah. ISSI, you know, will respect the damage coming out from it, will not do the same thing again.
Regeneration.
Few set of barracks down, now knocking on the last one.
And Arteezy just frontlining. So tanky, 4,000 health. And a Lotus Sword to back him up. As Isosize does finish off that nice buff-up item.
Isosize.
Dyer's bottom tower is under
They
attack.
got it. Yes. Look at a professional esports player. Not diving tier 4 towers.
He's pressing his buttons, boys. He's cutting waves, making sure this is all too easy for Arteezy. Tossing illusions around, Mirror there trying to chip away at the Phantom Lancer, but again, Sunray with heart. Collapse will miss out on the spear with a great doppelganger dodge. Yatoro, burn. All this mana down to 3-14. Slicing through the gyro disruptor. Double buyback comes from Team Spirit now, but the focus on Collapse blows him up with a finger of death. And it's 4 versus 5. And Evil runs them all over. The bulldozers arrive as Isosize sprints toward the fountain and forces the GG.
Much better execution from EG after calling out the good game 22 minutes in game number 1. They managed to keep the composure, like just being able to adapt to how Team Spirit is